and happy 2014 to my fellow combat veterans out there. Kicking off this new year. Took some time off of work, so I thought I would utilize this opportunity to progress in this video series. This is the Soldier's Manual, Civilian Edition. I'm Doc Nasty, and this is sort of the first section. We're going to be talking about basic survival here. I'm going to break this up probably into two sections. So first of all, I want to go over with you some things that I always like to have on me, things that I consider vital to have on hand all the time. You know, you throw these in your truck, your car, whatever you're driving, put them in your pack. Just some important things to have on you. Number one, as in the military, a water source. You never went anywhere without, at minimum, a water bottle or a canteen. I still make use of my CamelBak that holds 3 liters. I don't wear it on me all the time, but you know, I'll throw it in the truck when I'm going anywhere. I take it inside to work with me, throw it in my locker. People make fun of me for carrying around a bag of water, but you got to stay hydrated. It's important. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water when you wake up in the morning, after every meal. You know, just continue the habit of staying hydrated. It's just as important here. Number 2, self-defense. Now this is the point where people will start calling you a fanatic and telling you you need to get help because you have PTSD or some shit. I don't think that's always the case. Now there is legitimately post-traumatic stress disorder, hypervigilance. People can have issues with anger, violence when they come back here. So those are things you want to consider. You know, definitely take note of those. But I think it is very important to always be prepared to defend yourself against threats, because this is a dangerous world. And anyone who tells you otherwise is a damn fool, in my opinion. So when I first came back from my tour, I was a combat medic, as you know if you watch my previous video. And I felt naked without a weapon, because when I was overseas I carried 2 on me at all times. I had my M16 rifle, and then I had my sidearm, my M9. And a lot of times I would fill in for my gunner when we were on long convoys. You know, I'd be up on the 240 Bravo or the 50 cal, you know, one of the crew served weapons. And I just felt completely naked, because it's always on your mind. You know, your weapons are like an extension of you. It's like just as important as keeping track of your battle buddy. Every minute or so in your head this little switch goes off and you're like, where's my weapon? It's here, okay, I got it. And you know, that didn't instantly go away when I came back, so I was still dealing with that constant thought of, shit, where's my weapon? And I didn't have a weapon. So one of the first things that I did was I went out and I purchased a firearm. I bought a Springfield XD 45 caliber, outstanding pistol. It's a great weapon. Has a 13-round magazine, built-in tack rail, and that 35 caliber is plenty of stopping power when you're talking about personal defense. A lot of people tell me I should have gone with the XDM, but honestly, other than price, I didn't see much of a difference really. I'm happy with the XD. You know, it served me well over the couple of years that I've had it. Never had an issue with it, never had a jam, nothing. But what I did find is that when I carried it, when I first came back, within those first few months, I found myself reaching for it quite a bit, because that's what I was used to. You know, when I was overseas, I was out on a mission or on a convoy or something, things start looking fishy. First thing you do, you draw your weapon, you know, you get it up and ready. And I found myself doing that a lot with my pistol when I was driving or whatever, and that can be a bit of an issue. It can raise some unwanted attention. So I quit carrying for a while until I got my anger issues in check. Now I feel comfortable carrying. So, you know, just take note of that. Another option would be, me personally, I always carry this little self-defense knife. It's called a Boga knife or a last-ditch knife. This is from Benchmade. I love Benchmade when it comes to knives. They put out some high quality products. This particular one is called the Sock P, and it was designed by Greg Thompson. I believe he was a Navy SEAL. I apologize if I'm mistaken on that, but I know he was former military. And this is, it's just a nice little handy, compact personal defense weapon. It's not a utility knife by any means. You're not, you don't want to be cutting open boxes and cutting rope and stuff with this because it'll make it dull. This blade here is meant strictly for the purpose of penetrating flesh. It's a double-edged blade, has a nice, steep point on it, and it's cool. It comes with a nice little sheath, this little hard plastic sheath. It's got some holes in it where you can secure it with 550 cord to something. Nice little belt clip. So I just like to keep it in here, tucked away in my front pocket. And that way it's always there at a moment's notice if I need it. I haven't had to use it, but it's just, a little comfort. I know I have it if I do need it. So that's self-defense. What else are we going to talk about? Water source, self-defense. And I'm not just pulling these out of my ass, by the way. I do have a set stuff that you should always carry on you. Just trying to organize my thoughts a little bit. Protective equipment, PPE, personal protective equipment. You most likely never went anywhere without these things, before you go on a mission, before you're doing a training event in the military, do your PCCs, PCIs, to make sure you have your personal protective equipment. At the bare minimum, what I always like to have on me is eye protection, sunglasses for when I'm going to be outside in the sun, and also when I'm driving, let's say I'm driving with the windows down, just make sure, truck's not kicking up rocks, flinging them into your face. Poke your eye out. Eyes, very important to protect. I can't imagine what would it be like to live without my vision, so I always like to protect my eyes, and also gloves. Some work gloves, just something to protect your hands if you're working with machinery or something like that. It's always good to have a nice pair of work gloves on you. And these things, you throw them in the truck, keep them in your glove box. They're out of the way, they don't take up much space. Just so you have them all the time. Another thing, tools. Tools are something else, I carry still my Army issue Gerber multi-tool on me. It's come in handy many times. Got, pliers if you need them, screwdrivers, little blades for cutting stuff, cutting rope. It's something, it's one of those things you don't really think about until you need it, and then you're like, shit, if I just had a screwdriver, or if I just had some pliers, then I wouldn't be in this pickle that I'm in. So, maybe a small toolbox you can put in your trunk or under your seat, or, even just some kind of multi-tool to carry on you. Also, I like to carry a small toolbox full of tools that are specifically for my vehicle. We'll get into that later when I talk about vehicle maintenance, but, growing up, I always had shitty cars because I was poor. So I learned quick how to manage with vehicles that want to break down all the time. But we'll get into all that later. Tools, just basic tools to have on you. What else? Let's see. These things I'll kind of group together. These last few things. Rope. 550 cord. And 90-mile-an-hour tape. These things can get you out of a lot of jams. Just having, a length of rope on you. Maybe some medium duty nylon rope or something. 550 cord always comes in handy, and 90-mile-an-hour tape or duct tape, as you might know it as. You know what they say, if you can't duck it. So, you know, just these, they don't take up much space. Just keep a little bag, you know, have your multi-tool or your small little assortment of tools, some rope, 550 cord, 90 mph tape, some protective equipment, at the bare minimum, glasses, sunglasses, and some gloves to protect your eyes and your hands, maybe even some ear protection. I remember one time in basic training, I forgot my earplug, or I forgot to put them in, rather, and we were going out. We were doing a rapid response scenario where we had to rapidly respond to a threat, a simulated threat, and we had to, you know, we were holed up in this little bunker, and when they blew the whistle, we had to run out to this range and take our firing position and just blast off a bunch of rounds. Anyway, I forgot my earplug, and for the rest of the day, I had no hearing in my right ear. I couldn't hear anything. So that was a very unpleasant experience. So, you know, maybe some earplugs would help. Self-defense, talked enough about that. You know, very important, water source. So simple enough. These things, like I said, they don't take up much room, and they're things that you don't really tend to think about until you need them. So take my advice, listen to this, and you should find yourself, you know, not in quite as many jams, or at least easier to get out of a jam. So that's that. And now we'll go into some more advanced stuff, but I'm going to cut this video clip off here because it's a little bit lengthy. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.